we're here taking a look at Big Pharma. I am going to be incredibly biased and say, oh, I really want to play it now. But tycoon-style games I'm a big geek for personally, so why is it taken so long for there to be another one? Where has this market disappeared to?
That's a good question. Yeah, people keep coming up to me and saying, oh, it's a bit like Theme Hospital, and that's been a big influence for the game in terms of the kind of the design style, the aesthetic, the color palette, and the fact it's isometric, and obviously the theme. It's medical, and it's surprising that no one else has made a game in this area for so long.
I mean, I'll be honest. I've played some really naff versions of it where they've tried to throw in some like super duper 3D stuff that's actually not that good and horrible. But let us know for the uninitiated what to expect from a game like this. What are your kind of unique elements that you've got in it?
Yeah, no, sure. So the game's called Big Pharma. It's all about running your own pharmaceuticals company. So it's a bit different to like a game like Theme Hospital, where it's about administering drugs at the point of care. It's all about the behemoth, the machines that run in the background. So it's about creating those drugs that we're taking, like every day. Well, hopefully not every day. So it's all about exploring, looking for new ingredients, importing those into your factory, running them through a tortuous layout of production lines made of conveyor belts and machines, synthesizing new drugs, combining these ingredients, and then hopefully selling them for the profit, and that's the hard bit.
Okay, so are you going to be like pitching companies to be able to take your drugs as well, and that's kind of where some of the difficulty comes in?
So, I mean, the pharmaceutical industry offers so many interesting things to explore. I think, so some of the interesting stuff that goes on is that you're not allowed to advertise drugs. But you are allowed to get doctors to run clinical trials, right? Kind of testing how good your drug is. The interesting thing about that is you're not actually you're not forced to publish all of those results. So you can kind of be a little bit choosy about which ones of those results you're gonna publish. Only the ones that show your stuff in a good light. So there's going to be lots of that sort of stuff, kind of things you can do to try and kind of manipulate the markets a little bit and try and get people buying your drugs.
And I understand there's a reasonable element of morality or lack thereof involved in here as well. You can choose to kind of ignore people in favour of profits, is that right?
Yeah, of course. Although we're trying to be really balanced, really neutral about it. We're not trying to say, pharmaceutical companies are bad, because that's stupid. They save loads of people's lives. But what we do want is to kind of make the player think about what they're doing, the repercussions of their actions. I'll illustrate it with an example. So something like an HIV vaccine would help millions and millions of people. But unfortunately, the people who need that, they can't really afford to pay much for it. In developing nations, a few pennies. If you can't produce, because of just the difficulty in producing a drug, if you can't produce it for that cheap, it's not going to be profitable. So you're probably going to make the anti-wrinkle cream, which you can sell at £12 a pot to rich women in Western countries, And so that's just one example of a kind of ethical decision you've got to make, and there's no right or wrong answer.
I suppose, as long as you kind of stay approximately in the black, there's always that risk there. So I know this is like your first build of the game, fresh out of the dev department, or whatever kind of turn of phrase I was looking to make there. I'm not entirely sure myself. So what are we looking at as far as getting out there, people being able to get their hands on it? Where are we in that stage, and is it going to be just PC based at this point?
So we're looking at a release of May next year, 2015. So a little while to wait. I'm sorry, and it's going to be PC focused. And I've been asked a lot today about, is it going to be early access? Are we going to be able to get our hands on it? When are we going to be able to get our hands on it? And we're kind of going old school. We're probably going to wait till May next year, and we're going to release version 1. People get to play a finished game, Of course, there will be a testing process. We're going to need alpha testers and beta testers to make sure people playing the game. But it won't be, it won't be early access in terms of like paid. So in fact, I should just do a shout out. If you can't wait to get your hands on this game, you want to be the first to play it, then you need to go to my website, which is twicecircled.com, or you can just search for Big Pharma game in Google, and you should find it. And you need to sign up to the development newsletter. There's no spam or anything, but I'll be sending out a call for testers basically early next year, 2015. So if you want to play it, that's the thing to do.
Awesome, and those details will be underneath the video in the article wherever you're actually watching this as well. Yeah, I think you can understand that I'm sort of here squeeing like a little girl over it, so I'm going to stop embarrassing myself, but thank you very much, and yeah, we'll definitely be looking at this one sometime in the near future.